but from a side view, from so many angles, it needs a lot of improvement to get a good look. Starts at a low state in regard to looks. So anyway, it's not about the talk here so much. It's about what's up on screen. Just being able to access it. One of the things we can say is for the Kangoo and the like vehicles, there's no need to have this sort of van position in your seating. You can see that the way the person is sitting here in this picture is very much van, and where the gear stick is that petrol? Is that a petrol one? There's no need to have it to be a different seat position. You could have that because the roof is significantly high and the windscreen is properly steep, then they could be sitting a little higher than some passenger vehicles. But there's no need to have the van cliche. So let's just start from scratch again and ask what's totally necessary and what's not. What's the better driving position comfort-wise, and we just use that one. And if that's the passenger, it should be the passenger one, because you make the passenger vehicle ultimately comfortable and safe for driving performance. And then you can have it in the van. You step into the van, get in the seat, and the rest then plays from the seat. So don't go to the cliche of we're doing a van, so we're going to make it uncomfortable in the seating. Uncomfortably sort of bolt upright for no good reason, just sort of stiff-backed or something white. And the knees hitting underneath the steering column and crowded. No, let's just have some proper room here and have the cockpit right. This side view shows that bulbous, grotesque type of long nose and sticking out parts, and this is the plastic clad one that's unnecessarily ugly via the plastic cladding. For all this type of, the fleet buyer buys it. The fleet buyer is just about the dollar efficiency, cost effectiveness, and then the manufacturer using these sort of ideas, and it's their excuse for putting ugly cladding on the outside unnecessarily and all sorts of things. It's their excuse. And then they go and provide all these fancy colours, which is going to price up the vehicle. Why are you doing that? Why does the fleet buyer, who's just apparently, because that's the story being told by the manufacturer, that gives them the excuse to do all sorts of things that are really counterproductive, unnecessarily uglifying the vehicle. But that's their ongoing excuse. And then you go and waste a whole lot of money internally in the way you're manufacturing the vehicle. You're pricing things up, you're wasting money by providing these colours. Why does the fleet buyer need a red one? They don't. Just buy another white one. You have 50 white ones, 60 white ones. You don't need another colour, just buy another white one. So there does not seem to be any good explanation for that. If you say, well, some people are smaller businesses, they're buying it for themselves. It's not the fleet buyer buying hundreds. That is impersonal. Who buys it? The fleet buyer never sees that. The person who drives it never gets to talk to the fleet buyer. They're never meeting. Whereas in the small business, the buyer could be the person who drives it all the time. It's a sole trader sort of business. Right, that you can talk about that, but what percentage of sales go to that? And if that were true, if you said, well, that we're making a lot of sales to that, well, that brings in some of the things that we talked about there in recent material, file material, of being talking off that base of saying, well, some sales don't go to the big fleet buyer, but goes to the smaller business. Anyway, so the white, if we make the white look good, put the scenic look on it, then just do it in white, and we have those efficiency. Those efficiencies, don't do red and blue and black and so on and so on, and price it up. I mean, remember, we need to have an eye on the dollar safety, whether it's a passenger vehicle or a utility focused vehicle, and price it. Putting more paint offerings forward prices it up. And is that really appropriate for a workhorse van? And the answer is no. If you're a super luxury van offering, well, great, give all sorts of options, but that's not the category, is it? So have some proper consistency. The white is optimal safety, basically, and just pick the best color, and it comes in that one color. So just continuing to scroll through here. So that's up on screen for people. You can find this PDF, but maybe with quite a bit of work if you don't start with the URL, you just start with some random search term. So let's try and reduce the workload for people by putting it up on screen. Now this is the UK market, and they seem to be having some offerings that Australia currently don't get, and this is of the order of the easiest things to possibly get the upgrade through to a given market. If it already exists in other markets and in the right-hand driving position like UK and Australia have, same, then it just comes down to the decision to import it here. You've already got it, you already make it, we're just saying bring it here. These are of the order of the easiest things, so hence the usefulness in exploring the possible upgrades that could quickly come in to this particular market, the Australian market, from where I'm speaking. It does look like the UK has some offerings that we don't have that would be useful to us. But the start vehicle of the current Kangoo is so weak in so many areas, just how many people want the vehicle anyway. It's not about want. They really want a lot better vehicle than it's on offer, but how many people end up taking this vehicle? So for all the effort, if the start vehicle is so poorly done across core aspects, then it still ends up with something that people don't really favour to buy. And the only reason they're buying it is because there's no better option in this market. So the point of all of that is really just let's get the upgrade through in the immediate term and put some excellent offering forward in this space, which is the Scenic E-Tech version. It's the new Kangoo, and I would change the name. You got your brand name, it's Renault, and it's the smallest small van there in short wheelbase and long wheelbase, and just get a better name than Kangoo. It's a minor thing, very minor, but while we're at doing a complete overhaul, may as well upgrade the name. There's room for improvement. So the spec sheets area is particularly the part where we'd like to have it in the bigger text. Let's see if we can get that done. We'll just go back to the top. that. This seems to be working well for just about everything but the start photo. So we'll go through it with this. They have done some good photo shoot work with this vehicle. It's a good, very well constructed photo. The central object there is not particularly good looking, the Kangoo van, but this surrounds the beautiful background. Very good. Performance. 0 to 100 kilometers in 14.5 seconds, or 13.6 or 12.1 between these three variants listed, which is the TCE 100 or the blue DCI 95 Tech or the blue DCI 115 space EDC. So looks like the TCE 100, that looks like the electric one, has the worst acceleration performance there. Go fix that. We need to fix that. It needs to be the best, and to the order of competence, full competence. So that's part of the upgrade. Would like to go right to the top again and get a definition of what those terms mean, but we won't do it now. Which one's the electric, which one's the petrochemical is the question. That's still unanswered question. There's the E-Tech and it says 11.6 0 to 100. Well, that's meaning whatever's on the list beforehand is is not our vehicle here. We're going with the electric one. So now we've got the speed 11.6, and that's still deficient. That's a slug basically. So we need to fix that up for the next generation. Have some proper power weight ratio, excellent torque. The torque gives a very strong torque, gives a more even performance across different loads. It just has such torque, rotational force, that if you're going more load, it'll still just rip forward as commanded. So let's have a very torquey motor, since we have a vehicle built for carrying cargo. And if you're just about to get T-boned, then you're just about to get T-boned by a vehicle crashing into your vehicle, and this is life and death. So you want to get out of position, the danger position, fast, so you put your foot down. It needs to move. Whether it's your private passenger vehicle or a work vehicle that you're driving, your life is still on the line. These sort of crash types happen out there, and near misses amongst it. Well, if you're just about to get crushed, you put your foot to the floor to move out of that position, and it needs to move for you. So with the electric vehicle, it doesn't have a transmission and the sort of nightmare CVT transmission or a turbo lag, where you put your foot down and nothing happens for a while. It doesn't have those fails. Let's just have that instantaneous torque, instantaneous movement that comes with electric vehicles. And when you need to move for safety, to defend against getting hit, put your foot down and it moves. That's relevant for all vehicle types, including delivery vans, work vans, these sort of things. So this is just further working through the brochure, which is provided in the UK, at a UK site. And this shows the UK options, and including two alloy wheel types, variants, two different alloy wheels. So Renault's already doing that. They've already worked it out for this vehicle. And then we look to say, well, there's something, only upgrades things by so much, only a little bit, but let's have a look at that and look to bring it into Australia. If those alloy wheels are too heavy, you just put a lot of material in there to carry the load, and then it ends up very heavy. Then go do flow formed. And then there's up from that, which we won't talk about now in terms of wheel manufacturing, different methods. And there's flow form and there's flow form. Some people do it a lot better than others, and their wheel is another 3 kilograms lighter. So we need to get the right version. And then, since we're making so many of these vehicles, of all these variants, make them in-house yourself. Make your wheels yourself. Do a superb job. Make excellent wheels. Make them in-house. Let's get that done. For how you do things so much better there in the future. You got the quality, and you got quality control. You got cost control. You're going to be needing a lot of wheels for all the vehicles you're making in the future. How about bring it in-house, vertically integrated? Right. So that was the brochure from Renault.co.uk, and it's informative. Some markets don't get those options, and if they're good options, then let's know about them and ask Renault to bring those particular good features, options into the given other market. So I'll end the file there.